Everybody gets 2 laps to qualify, and they are done. It is time to line them up. Up front is going to be Kevin McCann and Adam Ritchie, James Krause and Brian McCann on the second row, David Brown, Kenny Hyde Jr. on the third row, Tyler Bowers and Patrick Gitter on the fourth row, Aaron Johnson and Lucas Gortman rounding out the top 10. Then Rick Whitwell and Kevin Bernheimer 11th and 12th. Blair Patterson and Chris Rawlings 13th and 14th. 15th is Justin Swafford. John Lucido is 16th. 17th is Jerry Banty. 18th is David Trumbly. Keith Fonseca is 19th. Bryant DeYoung is 20th. 21st is Kyle Storm. 22nd, Kayla McCarthy. 23rd is Pujanowski himself, and Andy Shaner is 24th. Matthew Wheeler, Dean Webb are 25th and 26th. Jeremy Edwards 27th. 28th is Otto Cruz. Kevin Gironi is 29th, and 30th is Mike Butler. And I meant to look, I talked to a couple of folks earlier in the day to see, I know they have the same kind of situation, at least Tyler Daniels has the same kind of situation for their team with the spotters here tonight. We'll have to look here in a moment and see. Taking a quick look to see if Pudge has spotters. Nope, they've got their entire group in one chat again tonight, which I would imagine is both very cool and handy, and also can get a little bit wild. All right, 80 laps. They have a 70% fuel load. Unlimited tires, but one fast repair, and this track is fast and close racing all the way around. Multi-grooves. We will see a lot of wild excitement out here tonight. All right, green flag is in the air. Kevin McCann leading him down. And they get they go through turns 1 and 2 a little bit calmly, surprisingly, despite the shuffling. But we've got a McCann to the front, and it looks like Adam Ritchie is now going to move up to second. And here comes the other McCann. Brian McCann on the outside is now up to third, looking for his brother. Looking a little further back through the field, Lucas Gortman has already picked up 2 positions. He is up to 8th. Chris Rawlings has already picked up 4 positions on the first lap. He is up to 10th. Kyle Storm has picked up 4 positions. He's up to 17th. Pudge has picked up 3 positions, up to 20th as they go 3 wide. And they got a little bit of bumping. It looked like and we've got the 20 slow on the high side. We stay green, but had some close calls there mid-pack. Back up front, Kevin Bernheimer also picks up 4 spots. He is now up to 8th. And while all this battling is going on, Kevin McCann has more or less checked out. Right now, the top 10 is primarily TDR drivers. But Kenny Hyde is trying to get up there and get to the front. He is the highest placed Nowski Nation driver right now in 4th. James Krause back there into 5th. Dave Brown 6th. Lucas Gortman now up to 7th. He is on the move very, very quickly. I've raced with Lucas in these ARCA cars. He definitely knows his way around in them, as well as Kevin Bernheimer. Those 2 guys charging to the front. And it is primarily, it's like TDR has checked out from the rest of the field. We'll see if they can hold on to those top spots and get the win here tonight. Last time by, Lucas Gortman, David Brown, and Kevin Bernheimer, the 3 fastest cars on the track. Matt Hughes, though, Pudge himself on the move. Let's take a ride with him as he is caught up in this mess. And there he comes off turn 4. You can see the car is a little bit loose, even in the traffic. He gets a run down to the inside, going into 1 and 2, trying to carry some momentum. That lower part of the track has less banking. There's more banking the higher you go, the progressive banking here at Kansas. Pudge trying to get a run, but the 20 is coming back on the outside. A lot of barbecue in the field tonight. I'm getting kind of hungry. And they cross the line. That was a lap around the track. He did that in 32 seconds. Back up front, Kevin McCann still leading this field. Him and his brother more or less dominating. First battles we see are right back here in 9th, 10th, and 11th. And even this battle starting to settle down, but it is a little further back in the pack as we see this group right here. Jerry Banty, Kyle Storm, Patrick Gitter, Keith Fonseca, Jeremy Edwards, and Pudge Nowski. That is 15th through 20th. And they are getting a little bit dicey coming through here. 81 drops really low suddenly. There is no line rule, however, if you get down on the bottom through the turns, your car is going to go back up and cause an incident. But sometimes going down below that white line on the front straightaway can help you pick up a little bit of time. Sorry about that. I got the hiccup suddenly. All right, they are continuing to battle for about 15th through 20th back here. Pudge still trying to fight his way through. The 71 of Keith Fonseca had dropped back a couple of spots. And now he has a run to the inside. He's still trying to regain some of that ground he lost. Back up front, the brother, Kevin McCann, is way out in front. He's got a 3.7 second lead over Adam Ritchie. Brian McCann, who was up in second just a few moments ago, now back to 9th place. Kenny Hyde Jr. and James Krause right there in 3rd and 4th. Kevin Bernheimer now up to 5th. We've got a wreck in turns 3 and 4. Several cars get collected. Caution is out for the first time. Looks like this happened right behind that. Have to see if we can find the original incident. Looking through some of what was happening on track, trying to find the original incident. 17 there. Looks like he's going to come up right behind it as the 57. There we go. Let's rewind just a little bit from that point and see. They were all getting a little bit loose through 3 and 4, and it looks like Lucas Gortman might have gotten a love tap there. He gets off and looks like a little netcode into the 23, checked up, and the 57 got his back bumper, and the 57 really gets the short end of the stick on that deal. He will have to use his fast repair. He ended up flying all over the place. Several cars involved. It looks like Keith Fonseca went to pit road. Kevin Gironi went to pit road. Patrick Gitter and Tyler Bowers all went to pit road. Mike Butler and a whole slew of cars, including our leader, Kevin McCann, went to pit road. Currently, Aaron Johnson is staying out. Have to see if that's the wise strategy here. After about 13 laps, this isn't a high tire wear track, but it does put a little strain on the tires. We'll have to see if this strategy pays off. The top 3 cars all stayed out. Matthew Boston Wheeler has picked up 22 positions by staying out. He is now up to 3rd after starting 25th. Adam Ritchie, Kevin McCann, and Kenny Hyde Jr. were the top 3. They are now 4th, 5th, and 6th. And now two of those 3 cars anyway come to pit road. Matthew Boston Wheeler is going to stay out. As they start to line up for the restart. Everybody checking up, getting themselves sorted out here. Lights are out on the pace car, so we will be going green here in just a moment. Brian McCann had dropped back to about 9th place. He is now back up in 8th place. Fresh set of tires up on his car as well. This car on the inside, the 32 car, you'll have to watch him. He has the potential to spin his tires or be a lot slower than all the other cars, so we'll have to see how that plays out for him. But if he can hang up here and not lose too many spots, that might be a huge advantage for his team. Green flag is in the air, and Matthew gets a good jump on the restart. He'll be able to hold him off at least through turn 1 right now. Adam Ritchie and Kevin McCann there to the inside, already starting to make his way forward. Kevin McCann on those fresh tires just shoots by everybody, and the 58 back there is coming as well. Here comes Kenny Hyde Jr. He gets to the inside of Adam Ritchie and gets to the inside of Matt Wheeler, and he takes second at the line, but Matt Wheeler still fighting back on older tires. Brian DeYoung just had an incident. Caution is out. Let's see if we can see what brought that on. Oh, it looks like he had some problems getting into turns 3 and 4, got down on the apron. That's what we were talking about. Once you get down on the apron in the corner, if you don't hold it down and you get unsettled, it'll send you up into the wall. That's what happened with him, and looks like there might have been a follow-up crash. Let's see if we can see what happened. Yeah, everybody checking up, and Jerry Banty, several others get caught in that as well. Mike Butler was involved. And several cars now coming to pit road. David Trumbley comes to pit road. Jerry Banty. So a lot of cars involved in that. Back up front, Kevin McCann firmly in first. Kenny Hyde Jr. is in second. Matt Wheeler's third. Adam Ritchie is fourth. Brian McCann now up to fifth. Kevin Bernheimer is in 6th. James Kraus is in 7th. Lucas Gortman, after being involved in that first incident, back up into 8th. Justin Swafford 9th. And Jeremy Edwards, biggest mover so far, but he's going to come to pit road. He had picked up 17 spots, made his way from 27th up to 10th. The leaders stay out. The top, looks like top 6 stay out. Adam Ritchie, Brian McCann, Matt Wheeler. Matt Wheeler had to come to pit road, but he waited a little bit longer, got some laps led there. And a lot of cars just outside the top 10 coming to pit road. A little bit of a surprise with that. They didn't really have enough time to put the heat in the tires. They were still fresh. So we'll have to see if that plays out to their favor. I'd imagine some of them are just topping off on fuel. Remember, they are carrying only a 70% fuel load here. Kevin Bernheimer now up to 3rd after the pit stops. James Kraus, Lucas Gortman now up to 5th. Justin Swafford up to 6th. Chris Rawlings is 7th. Kevin Gironi, I do believe he stayed out. He started in 29th. He is now up to 8th. Kayla McCarthy started 22nd. She is up to 9th. And Blair Patterson now up to 10th from 13th. Pudge is struggling here a bit tonight. Despite having a good practice session earlier, he is in 25th at the moment. But now the Nowski Nation has a car up in 2nd. They have a car up to 3rd now. A little bit more even balance in the top 5. Looking back through the field, though, a lot of TDR cars back there. It looks like the Nowski Nation might be having some struggles here tonight. I do know that they, like I said, they have put in a lot of extra practice this week. They did have a practice session right before this and a practice race, and it looked like they were all doing really well, but they got out here and just not quite as fast. Got to wonder if it's a difference in the temperature, the weather situation, or is it something else going on with that team. But hopefully they'll be able to get up here and compete. They've got 2 cars in the top 5 right now. Plus they have, let's see, the 6th place car, so they've got 3 in the top 6. We did see last week Tyler Daniels Racing, the first half of the race, held the entire front top 10 for a while. And at the end of the night, the Nowski Nation came through, including a extremely power move by Scotty Too Hottie to come through a giant wreck with his eyes closed because everybody was spinning right in front of him. He kept his foot down, went straight through, somehow got through there cleanly, and picked up a top 10 finish. It helped put 8 of the top 10 cars being Nowski Nation cars. Got them back to the lead last week. We'll see if they can hold on to it. Just 3 points is their lead coming into tonight. And their first time leading since this series started. Pace car is finally on pit road. Kevin McCann will lead them down once again. Green flag in the air. Here they go. And immediately Kenny Hyde Jr. drops down to the inside, getting to the inside line, trying to get some momentum. He's got his teammate Kevin Bernheimer right behind him, but here comes James Kraus and Lucas Gortman. And it looks like John Lucido has had some trouble. Let's see what happened to John. He looked like he might have had a problem on the restart. He got together with the 79, or with the 32, excuse me, bounced up off of him. Engine is blown. He will go in and get a fast repair, but he will be a couple of laps down after the tow. Green flag stays out. He managed to get the car off track in a timely manner. And once again, Kevin McCann has checked out. He is in first place. He has got a 1 second lead already after just a couple of laps. We have seen these McCann brothers just charge through the field, run away with it the last few races. And it looks like it'll be a lot of the same here tonight. Kenny Hyde Jr., James Krause, Kevin Bernheimer, and Justin Swafford rounding out the top 5. Blair Patterson trying to catch back up to him with his teammate Lucas Gortman. Adam Ritchie and Chris Rawlings, Brian McCann round out the top 10. A little bit of a surprise to see Brian McCann so far back, currently running in 10th place. Kevin Gironi is so far the biggest mover of the night. He has picked up 18 positions. Started in 29th. He is up to 11th. He did stay out on one of the previous pit stops, and that gave him quite a few positions, and he passed a lot of cars on the track. Right behind him, Jeremy Edwards. He's picked up quite a few positions as well. He started in 27th, now up to 12th. Keith Fonseca in 13th. Otto Cruz is another one that's picked up a lot of spots. He started in 28th, now up to 14th. And as they settle in, let's look a little further back. Let's find the team leaders. Andy Shaner, currently for TDR, currently running in 17th after starting 24th. And Pujanowski back in 24th. He has lost one spot since the start of this race. And while we've got some green flag laps, let's try and run through the field. First place up front, Kevin McCann. Kenny Hyde Jr. in second. Kevin Bernheimer in third. Justin Swafford currently running fourth. James Krause now up to fifth. Adam Ritchie is in sixth. He slipped back a few spots since the last restart. Blair Patterson picking up quite a few spots. Started in 13th. He is up to 7th. Lucas Gortman slipping back just a little bit. He started in 10th. He's up to 8th, but he's been as high as 4th tonight. Brian McCann now working his way up. He is up to 9th. And Jeremy Edwards has picked up, he takes 9th place now after starting 27th. Brian McCann drops back to 10th. Otto Cruz is now up to 11th. He's picked up 17 spots. Kevin Gironi also has picked up 17 spots, started in 29th, up to 12th. Keith Fonseca is up to 13th after starting 19th. Kyle Storm started 21st, up to 14th. Kayla McCarthy, she started back in 22nd, now up into 15th, and still making her way forward, it looks like. Chris Rawlings is currently in 16th. Rick Whitwell is 17th. Tyler Bowers is 18th. David Brown is 19th, and 20th is Patrick Gitter. Andy Shaner is back up in 21st. Matt Wheeler leading earlier, now in 22nd. David Trumbley is back to 23rd. And Pudge himself now running in 24th. Dean Webb is 25th. Mike Butler is the last car on the lead lap. He is in 26th. Aaron Johnson, first car one lap down, is in 7th. Jerry Banty, 8th. Bryant DeYoung is 29th. John Lucido appears to be out of the race. And Kevin McCann continues to open up a lead. The longer it stays green, the longer he is out front. He has got a 4.3 second lead over Kenny Hyde Jr. Justin Swafford in third. Still has Adam Ritchie with him. And Jeremy Edwards is right there. And now we're starting to see a little bit of a battle for fifth back to about 10th as Jeremy Edwards, Kevin Bernheimer, James Krause, Blair Patterson, Otto Cruz, and Brian McCann all right there in a little group. And the 4 car's in the wall. James Krause is in the wall. He bounces off the wall, and another car is up in the wall. Could not tell who that was. We're going to try and find out, though. And we've got a wreck down into turn number 3. Caution is out. And it looks like the 23 was getting together with the 57. Let's rewind it just a hair there because I think it has something to do with that 03 car that had been up in the wall a moment ago. Yeah, he had checked up and the 57 had nowhere to go. That 03 had practically stopped on the track. The 57 and the 23 both caught in that. And now a couple of these guys will have already used, they were back in that earlier incident. They will have to have used another fast repair here. We'll see how things play out. Several Tyler Daniels racing cars in that incident. Looking to see if we can get a better look at the initial incident because Otto Cruz let's see if this will show us Otto up on. No, it does not. Otto is practically stopped by that point. We will try and rewind just a little bit here with Otto. And we saw a car getting into the wall. The 4 car got into the wall right in front of him, but don't believe that's what caused it. It looks like when the 4 went down, the car in front of him checked up. They got together. He drove down the wall just a little bit. Could not. Once you get hooked on that safer barrier, it is extremely hard to maintain any speed. He couldn't get back up to speed, and he was just right in the middle of no man's land, had nowhere to go. And there wasn't a lot he could do. He did make the right move by staying there and holding his line as best he could. Everybody on pit road again. Actually, we've got a couple of cars out here that have not been to pit road. I'd imagine we'll see them come to pit road here in a moment. They are going to stretch as long as they can to save a little bit of extra fuel here. Adam Ritchie now up front. David Trumbley up to second. He started in 18th, and he is now up to second. We'll see if he comes to pit road. He is banged up. He's going to have to come to pit road. And that should give the lead back to Kevin McCann here, Kenny Hyde Jr., and Justin Swafford. As the 03 car down there on the inside, I do believe he has been to pit road. Swafford started in 15th. Jeremy Edwards right behind him. These two managing to keep those cars pretty clean despite being in the mix of a lot of stuff. This might be the smart strategy for those guys. They have been back there in the wrong place, both been successful in avoiding it, but yeah, it's been a little dicey for them. Staying out a little bit and getting the track position might be the advantage they need here. While we're under caution, make sure you hit that share button, give these guys some love, and get your friends and family in here watching this late night series. We did mention it 2 weeks ago that they will be or they are discussing the possibility of extending this or turning it into its own league. Seeing how these guys race so well together that they're and everybody enjoying it, they might make this a very long-term thing. The 11 car up there at the tail end of the lead lap is going to get waved around here in just a moment. He is working on getting back there. He goes. He is going to get back to the lead lap. And the 58 of Kenny Hyde Jr. obviously trying to get a head start here. I don't think it works that way, Kenny. Yeah, he fell back in line. The spotter was yelling at him. All right, Kevin McCann continues to lead. Brian McCann, his brother, back in 6th. Brian has not been as good tonight as we have seen him in past races. He's not been able to get up here and help his brother out. We'll see if that changes at some point, but right now, looking through here, it's a pretty even mix of TDR and Nowski cars. As the pace car drops off, Kevin McCann will lead TDR and the Nowski Nation into the green flag. And another good jump by Kevin McCann. Kenny Hyde Jr. really got nothing for him there. Justin Swafford back there in 3rd. Brian McCann starting to pick up positions on the bottom, trying to get to his brother. Makes a pass from Jeremy Edwards, gets up to 4th now. Jeremy Edwards stayed out to get track position, definitely paying off for him here. He's currently running in 5th after starting 27th, and it looked like a couple of cars got a little squirrely there. Have to watch this group as they go off into 1 and 2. We've seen a lot of cars after a few laps, once the tires get warmed up, they're starting to hit that outside wall. And the way these guys are racing side by side, as Brian McCann tries to take 3rd place, now he's going to move up and try and take 2nd place from Kenny Hyde Jr. Got his brother not far ahead, and he is going to clear him for 2nd place. And Jeremy Edwards' caution is out. Let's see if we can find what happened. Oh, Keith Fonseca gets up on the outside wall, just pushed up. Actually, that was... Take another look at this and see if we can see who that was that hit the wall. That was the 4 car. That was James Krause that bounced off the wall, collected Keith Fonseca, and brought the caution out. Let's see if we can see what happened to James. Oh, he just pushed up extremely bad coming off of turn 4. Couldn't keep it off the wall. Fortunately, everybody else makes it through there cleanly, but now the brothers McCann are at the front, and we'll see. They all just pitted. They've only had 2 green flag laps as we are just past the halfway point. They've only had 2 green flag laps on this set of tires. They should be right within the range where they can make it on fuel, but the way the race has gone thus far is a couple of guys faking to pit road. They all stay out. The top 5 are staying out. Looks like the top 10 is staying out right now. The first car to duck in, Rick Whitwell gave up 12th to go to pit road. Kevin Bernheimer and James Krause are on pit road. You're exactly right. We'll see if one of the brothers McCann gets up here and hits the pace car. The 58 of Kenny Hyde Jr. was certainly looking for it. The 03 he is the lucky dog on this one. That is Otto Cruz. He was involved in that previous caution. We saw him get stuck on the safer barrier. And this is one of those tracks where if you get caught in the safer barrier, it slows you down so much and it feels like it sucks you into the wall. Pacing around, does not look like the leaders are going to pit. Lights are still on the pace car one more time around. Otto Cruz now on pit road after getting his lap back. Looking back through the field, let's see if we can find our team leaders. Andy Shaner and Matt Hughes still together. There is Pudge. Andy is right in front of him. They are currently running 15th and 16th. Just survival right now. Both of them have managed to pick up quite a few spots. But it is the brothers McCann out front again for TDR. Third place is Kenny Hyde Jr. for Nowski Nation. More Nowski Nation cars coming to the front. Jeremy Edwards in fourth, and then there is another Nowski Nation car on the inside. As they start to split up, you can tell the back here mid-pack, around 8th and 9th place, a lot of the TDR drivers have collected. Lucas Gordman's there. The 2 car of Adam Ritchie is there. Chris Rawlings is there. And the lights are out on the pace car. So you've got a pretty even balance right now in the top 10. But right outside the top 10, it is all TDR for a ways back. Pace car drops in. And Kevin McCann gets a good jump on the field. Green flag in the air. Here they go down into turn number 1. Kenny Hyde running side by side with the other McCann, Brian, on the high side. Brian is going to lose second to Kenny Hyde for the moment. Jeremy Edwards now working his way up. He is in 4th. After starting 27th, he's having a heck of a run, and he's making those older tires work really well. With 34 laps to go, and him hanging on to it as long as he has since he got up here. And a lot of these cars that are coming to the front, fresher tires. Let's see if we can take a look at the difference in the pit strategies. Well, it doesn't look like Edwards is that far off cycle. He has just managed to capitalize on everything that's happened around him, as he pitted about the same time as everybody else in that lead pack. And Brian McCann now trying to fight back by on the outside, trying to get second back. They've got Oh, getting very dicey through turns 1 and 2, and here comes Jeremy Edwards. Jeremy Edwards takes third place on the back straightaway, looking for second place through 3 and 4. Little wiggle. Oh, Brian gets into the back. Everybody holds on to it, but that got very sketchy. Caution is out, and not for that. Let's see if we can see what happened. Bit of a rough race going on here tonight. Patrick Gitter upside down. Let's take a quick rewind and see what happened to Patrick here. And looks like he gets a run up to the high side. Lucas Gorman not aware that he's there. He comes down a little bit, and I think there was a little bit of netcode involved there. We'll have to take a gander again. Yes, there was. They did not. It looked like he got a little bit loose and came down, but I don't think they actually touched. There was a little bit of a gap still there when the spin happened. Patrick Gitter is on pit road for repairs. Now let's see if any of these leaders come in. They've only been out there for about 13 laps on these tires, but there's a lot of cars not that far back that stopped on that last pit stop just about 2 laps ago. Definitely a rougher race than we have seen the last couple of weeks. The first race between these two great groups, definitely a bit on the rough side. Okay, Kevin McCann's coming to pit road. Jeremy Edwards, Kenny Hyde Jr., Justin Swafford stay out. And the McCanns, Blair Patterson, Adam Ritchie, it looks like it might be split by teams. No, there is a TDR driver staying out. But I think there might be a little bit of team strategy going on here because primarily TDR cars on pit road at the moment. And primarily Nowski Nation cars staying out. And if you're free tomorrow morning, we will be doing, me and several HTSAI community members will be doing the Open Setup Indy 500, which I believe starts at 1 Eastern. And my race will probably be over about 105 Eastern. And looks like we've got another one ducking off. That's going to move Kevin Bernheimer up a position. There is Rick Whitwell. Otto Cruz. It looks like there is a couple of different team strategies going on here because we have seen Tyler Daniels Racing teammates, big groups of them at the front, but they're all seeming to pit on the same strategy. This may come down to a situation where pit strategy determines who the winner is, which team. Good evening, Richie West. Looks like Kyle Storm might have had an issue a moment ago. Let's take a quick look. Yep, that was another netcode issue. Obviously, the 7 car, that's Pujanowski, did not mean to, and he wasn't anywhere close to it. And this does happen from time to time when new patches and updates come out that it takes a while for things to settle. It's just part of what happens in IT, but it definitely impacted the 7 car and Kyle Storm here. And while we're under caution, hit the share button. Okay, so Richie West is calling it tomorrow. I will get a top 5 in his new paint scheme he's painting for me for the Indy 500. So we'll see if he is right. And Unibro Racing says the body shops will be extremely busy, and I would imagine that the scrap metal merchants are going to be sitting outside these teams' buildings with their trucks ready to load up all the extra sheet metal after this one. Lights are out on the pace car as they're up front. It is now Jeremy Edwards and Kenny Hyde Jr. on the front row. Brian McCann, Kevin McCann back in 9th and 10th. Blair Patterson now back up to 11th. Pujanowski is 18th. Andy Shaner is 19th. Jeremy Edwards is going to lead them down this time. Pace car is in. And green flag already. These guys went as soon as the pace car would allow it. Jeremy Edwards off the front already. Kenny Hyde Jr. fighting back on the outside. They've got a couple of teammates back behind them trying to work their way up. Justin Swaffer. And we've got a huge battle going on back here. The 03 is now back in this thing after being involved in one of the earlier cautions. That is Otto Cruz. We've seen him be up front several times in this series. Otto Cruz is charging to the front again. He started back in 28. He is up to 5th now, looking for 4th from James Krause. Can't quite get there yet. Drifts up high. I guarantee you he's leaving a little extra room by the wall. 33, Kevin McCann to the inside. Kevin McCann is on fresher tires than these cars at the front. And I promise you the TDR guys are not going to fight Kevin too terribly hard here, but those Nowski Nation guys, I promise you, are looking in their mirrors and they see that car coming. And they're going to do anything in their power to hold that 33 back, but I don't think they can. Here he comes to the inside. Kevin McCann taking 3rd place. They've got him kind of boxed in at the moment. Oh, it's getting really sketchy. A couple cars get loose back there. Kevin Bernheimer. Almost saw 3 wide. Kevin McCann backed out of it. You see a couple of these guys getting a little squirrely coming up off turn 2. Tires still coming up to temperature. 24 laps to go. These guys are going for everything they can. They've got Kevin McCann trapped in a box right now. And Kenny Hyde Jr. out front cannot get away from this field like Kevin was earlier. Kevin's got a clear line to the inside now. Kevin McCann ducks to the inside coming through. Caution is out. Will Kevin McCann be scored? Kevin McCann was not scored in second as the caution came out. We'll have to see how that plays out. And it looks like, let's see what happened here. That is Matt Wheeler. And looked like whoever, the 81 just came down. He looked like he was loose, trying to catch the car just a little bit. And you see that 32 car has got severe damage, missing the entire front clip. We'll have to see if he can get repaired and get back out. Kenny Hyde Jr. managing to maintain the lead for the Nowski Nation so far. Justin Swafford in second, but Kevin McCann is now up to 3rd. James Krause is up to 4th, and Jeremy Edwards is in 5th. Several car Otto Cruz in the 03, now up to 6th place. So Nowski's got some of their strongest drivers, and now we're seeing the Nowski cars come to pit road again. This is definitely a team pit strategy here. interesting plan. I would have split the team in half, had half of them pit on cycle with the TDR guys and half of them pit off cycle. And the entire top 10 changes again, and here is an interesting update on that top 10. Currently running in 6th place is Nowski himself, Matt Hughes. Started in 23rd and now up to 6th place. David Trumbley also moved up quite a few. He started in 18th, now up to 5th. Blair Patterson, who started in 13th, now up to 4th. Obviously, the McCann's up there in 2nd and 3rd. Kevin McCann is in 1st. James Krause is 2nd. Brian McCann is 3rd. Kevin Gironi now up into 9th place after starting 29th. Chris Rawlings is in 7th. Lucas Gortman is in 8th, and Andy Shaner now up to 11th. Dean Webb in 10th, started in 26th. Everybody can make it from here. They will not need a pit no matter what happens. And while they pace around, make sure you hit the share button, then make a comment on how upset we are that Tommy ditched us tonight. Where's the love, Tommy? Where's the love? And we need to make sure in 2 weeks, when we're back, don't let him forget. Matt Hughes still struggling with a little bit of a connection issue, especially under pacing conditions. That is fairly normal, but hopefully it'll clear up under green flag conditions. I've seen it a little bit in both green and caution, so as he's working his way through the field. Andy Shaner just outside the top 10, so both of the leaders of TDR and Nowski Nation, both of them right outside within the top 11 cars. They'll restart, let's see, next time lights go out on the pace car, they will restart on lap 62. They'll have about 17 laps to go. There's a lot of cars right outside the top 10 with fresh tires now. And with 18 laps to go, if this thing stays green for 18 laps, those fresh tires will have an advantage, but they'll have a lot of cars to come through. And it is now TDR up in the front being the dominating force. The first car the first Nowski Nation car is Nowski himself, Matt Hughes. Interesting development there. He is back in 6th place. And he has got several TDR cars right behind him, including their IROC winner, Lucas Gortman. So, Pudge has his hands full here in just a moment. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. Kevin McCann down and away. Brings Brian McCann, his brother, with him. The brothers McCann to the front once again. This is something we're getting very used to seeing. The 4 car up high. We saw him up high earlier. He got into the wall just a little bit. And Blair Patterson making a move to the inside, down the back straightaway. Pudge has made his way up to 5th, way up on the high side. He is all alone, no help at all. In fact, his first bit of help is currently 10th place Kenny Hyde Jr. Now, Pudge is all alone. That's got to be a lonely feeling. The only Nowski Nation car in the top 10. Meanwhile, the brothers McCann have checked out from the field. 17 laps to go, coming to 16 to go. Everybody can make it from here on fuel. Everybody can make it on tires. And this is a mess. Lucas Gortman is now up to 6, and right behind him, Chris Rawlings, Dean Webb, Kevin Gironi, Kenny Hyde Jr., Justin Swafford. And there's another big group right behind them. There's a small gap. Then you got Trumbley, Cruz, Edwards, Andy Shaner, Kevin Bernheimer powering by on the outside. Rick Whitwell's back there. They're 3 wide through the front straightaway briefly. Everybody settles back into 2 wide, but 15 laps to go. Everybody's getting a little dicey as the 17 sticks his nose in there looking to make it 3 wide. Can't quite get there. Dean Webb dropping down to the bottom. Trying to find another way around that 01 car up there. That is Chris Rawlings. And we've seen Otto Cruz come charging through the field more than once tonight. Here he comes again. Will he make it 3 wide down the front straightaway? He's looking like it. He is going to make it 3 wide into turn 1. Almost 4 wide through turn 1. The 17 drifts up. 0-3. Otto Cruz in the wall again. He is stuck up on the safer barrier. He gets back down, but he is slow. The whole field has gone by him. Will he get off track and keep it green as Kevin McCann comes around? Kevin's got a huge lead now over his brother. He's got a 1-second lead over his brother. Otto Cruz gets off the track. He is on pit road. We will stay green. James Krause now battling with Blair Patterson. All TDR at the front. Pudge now up to 5th, holding securely in 5th. Kenny Hyde Jr. now there to help him in 6th. Gortman is in 7th. Rawlings in 8th. And it looks like that's a TDR car, or a Nowski Nation car, in the middle, getting just plowed through. Keeps trying to find a way through there. Can't quite make it. Do believe that is Justin Swafford. Losing a lot of ground. Kevin Bernheimer finding a way by on the outside. Almost in the wall was Bernheimer. And here comes the 14, Rick Whitwell. Dean Webb hanging out back here as well. All these Nowski Nation guys on fresh tires. They have 11 laps to go. Kevin McCann way out front. He has a 1-second lead right now. And here comes the Nowski Nation in full force. Those fresh tires are definitely making a difference here. Bernheimer last lap actually ran a identical lap to our leader. In fact, Gortman did too. Caution is out. Oh, looks like the 88 just drifted up, caught the 14 of Rick Whitwell. They both went off in the grass. Should be minimal damage, but that brings a caution out late in the race with just 10 laps to go. Now it'll be interesting to see what the front runners do. We've seen this strategy play out all night. TDR will pit together. Nowski Nation will pit together. The Nowski Nation drivers are coming to the front very quickly. Kenny Hyde is now up to 5th. Pudge is 6th. Then they've got Lucas Gortman in 7th. Then you've got Kevin Bernheimer in 8th. Jeremy Edwards in 9th. And Chris Rawlings in 10th. Apparently some of these Nowski Nation drivers got a little bit stalled. There's Swafford, Webb, Kayla McCarthy. Who is going to pit and give up track position for tires at this point? I don't think any of the top 10 are. James James Krause, Pudge comes to pit road. Gortman comes to pit road. Rawlings comes to pit road. Rick Whitwell comes to pit road. Otto Cruz, Adam Ritchie, and Matt Wheeler come to pit road. We've only got 19, about 20 cars left on the lead lap of the 30-car field. And the brothers McCann continue to lead. And I got to say, there's quite a few cars just outside the top 10 that are going to be on fresh tires. But with less than 10 laps to go, I think Kevin McCann, the way he's been running away, old tires or new, has not mattered. He continues to run away with this thing. I don't know that those fresh tires are going to make enough of a difference here. We'll have to see if giving up the track position pays off, but at least Nowski's got a couple of drivers still up here in the top 10. Kenny Hyde Jr., Kevin Bernheimer. Swafford now up into the top 10. Dean Webb now up into the top 10. Caleb McCarthy now up into the top 10. And there is the leader of the TDR team, Andy Shaner, now in 10th. And we've got seeing a couple guys fake to pit road. Dean Webb comes to pit road. Bit of a surprise to be giving up that much track position. They do have 3 green-white checkers available for this race. The way that last 10 laps or so went, I would not be surprised to see one used. Yes, there is a lucky dog in this series. That is how the 03 of Otto Cruz got back to the lead lap. And then managed to come flying up through the field before getting up into the wall again. Speaking of, Otto Cruz still on pit road. Top 3 are now TDR. Then you've got a couple of Nowski Nation cars. And it's a pretty even mix from there on back. Kyle Storm now up to 10th. Andy Shaner moves up to 9th. But doing the math in my head really quick, I could be off by a few points. We'll know for sure tomorrow. But as it stands, if they finish now the way they're running, I do believe the points would stay roughly the same. I don't think either team would take an advantage. The only advantage would be with those 2 McCann brothers winning. It might tie it or give them just a couple of points head start. Or a couple of point lead, I should say. But Nowski Nation, they've got a lot of drivers just outside the top 10 on fresh tires. It'll be interesting to see. They're going to get the green flag with 5 laps to go. Can they do anything with those fresh tires? Can the Nowski drivers up here in the top 10, can they get up here and do something with these brothers? Kenny Hyde's been coming on strong all night. So is Bernheimer. They have the best position to get up here with the McCanns. Kevin McCann gets a green flag. He is down and away. 5 laps to go at the line. Brian McCann in second. Blair Patterson holding on to third. Kenny Hyde looking to the high side. He gets the nose in there and blocks the outside from Blair Patterson. He is making a good run down the back straightaway. Manages to take the position briefly. We'll see if he can hold on to it. He is going to hold on to it. Now we've got a couple of Nowski drivers back here in the mix as well. Jeremy Edward, or Kevin Bernheimer Swafford Couple of cars are off track. Race will stay green. Blair Patterson in the wall. He is going to slip way back. 4 laps to go. Blair Patterson is now outside the top 10. Caution is out. Let's see if we can figure out. I do believe the incident involves Blair. Just missed it. Looked like he got into the wall coming through 1 and 2, and just the same thing we saw happen to Auto Cruz a couple of times tonight. And he was just pushing extremely hard. Gets up there in the wall. Gets the right sides actually off the ground. Drifts down. The 88 barely manages to avoid him. A couple of cars clip him. The 27 has to check up, trying to recover the car from avoiding him, and that brings us under caution. Prior to that, it looked like there might have been a couple of other incidents. James Krause spun coming off turn 4, gets down into the grass. Additionally, Rick Whitwell gets loose Rick gets clipped there. I believe that's almost identical to the previous incident between those. Actually, I think the positions are reversed that time, but yeah. And it does look like once the lights go out, we will have a green-white checkered finish. Now, to answer the question of Lucky Dog, yes, Blair Patterson and Andy Shane are both in position to get it, both on pit road. No, they did not. We'll see who that, I believe that was Bryant DeYoung gets the Lucky Dog this time. That'll put him up into 20th while Blair and Andy are both on pit road. And that'll mean 20 cars on the lead. Looks like we might get 21 cars on the lead lap. Depends on when Andy comes off pit road. He is going to maintain the lead lap, so we will have 22 cars of the 30 now back on the lead lap. Currently, it is Kevin McCann and Brian McCann up front. Kenny Hyde Jr. and Jeremy Edwards in the second row. Kevin Bernheimer, Justin Swafford in the third row. Kayla McCarthy and Kyle Storm in the fourth row. Kevin Gironi and Keith Fonseca. Keith has had a heck of a recovery after his earlier incident. And he's still got, looks like a little bit of damage on the right rear of that car. Mike Butler is in 11th. David Trumbley 12th. Pudge is up to 13th. Chris Rawlings is 14th. Dean Webb is 15th. David E. Brown is 16th. Gortman back to 17th. A bit of a surprise to see him so far back. Rick Whitwell 18th. Considering his night, he is doing pretty well. James Krause, same thing, in 19th. Blair Patterson is 20th. And Andy Shaner is 21st. And we need Kenny Hyde to run up here and hit the pace car again. Tell the pace car to get moving. Green, white, checkered when they restart. They will get the green flag. They will get one lap. And once the leader takes the white flag, there can be no more cautions. A lot of guys hitting pit road a couple of guys. Adam Ritchie hit pit road on the last opportunity, the last lap. Let's see where that puts him at. He is still a couple of laps down in 27th. Looks like he is trying to get some repairs done. Meanwhile, up front, it is the brothers McCann. Kevin McCann on the inside, Brian McCann on the outside. A decent mix, actually. In the top 10, it is a lot of Nowski cars and a few TDR cars, but the TDR cars are leading. They do calculate the points with everybody in the field, so it will be interesting to see how things play out. But right now, it is TDR leading him down to the green. And the McCann brothers take the green flag. 2 laps to go here. And I don't think there's an incident further back in the field. Mike Butler went off track. Caution is out. They will get one more attempt at the green-white checker. The 88 and the 04 get together. '88 is Kevin Gironi. Oh, and several cars get collected right behind him. Andy Shaner being one of them. Andy Shaner's car is destroyed, and he was in a previous incident. I imagine he has used his fast repair already. He may be done for the night. So that changes the complexion of this race one more time with another green-white checkered. We still have the brothers McCann up front. Then we've got Kenny Hyde Jr., Jeremy Edwards, Justin Swafford, Bernheimer, Kyle Storm, Caleb McCarthy, Keith Fonseca, and now Pujanowski himself is back in the top 10 as a lot of guys fake to pit road there. David Trumbley is currently 11th. Christopher Rawlings 12th. Dean Webb is 13th. Then you got to go all the way back there to find Lucas Gortman up to 14th now. David Brown, is in 15th. Rick Whitwell 16th. James Krause 17th. Mike Butler and Blair Patterson and Bryant DeYoung round out the top 20. And it looks like Bryant is going to get another lap back here. I do believe that puts him back on the lead lap. I thought it did last time, but he was still showing 1 lap down. So we'll have to wait and see once he gets back around here. Yeah, he will be back to the lead lap. So that's going to put another Nowski Nation car. And looking back here, Kevin Gironi, Andy Shaner, Aaron Johnson, and Matt Wheeler all still on pit road as these guys pace around. There's been enough caution laps that fuel mileage will not be a factor in this one. Everybody's pitted within the last 25 laps or so. And they have a 70% fuel load tonight. But it looks like Nowski Nation is currently positioned to extend their points lead just a little bit here. Lights are still on the pace car. We will attempt a second attempt at a green-white checkered here. They do have one more attempt after this if needed. Lights should be going out on the pace car. 3 more laps if they can keep it clean and green. Brothers McCann continue to lead at the front. Jeremy Edwards and Kenny Hyde in the second row. Bernheimer and Swafford in the third row. Storm and McCarthy in the fourth row. Fonseca and Pudge himself in the fifth row. And we still have several cars on pit road. Gironi, Shaner, Johnson, and Wheeler still all on pit road. So a lot of good cars on pit road and a lot of TDR cars. There's quite a few TDR cars currently on pit road. Definitely going to hurt the overall points after tonight. Pace car is in. Green flag is in the air. Kevin McCann leads him down, but he does not get away as quickly this time. Kenny Hyde is right there with him, along with Justin Swafford, now up to fourth. Kenny Hyde looking for second from the McCann brothers here. And Kenny's got a little bit of a run down the back straightaway, but the brothers McCann still holding on to the top two spots. And the Nowski Nation car looking to the inside, coming off turn 4. They are coming to the white flag. Kevin McCann takes the white flag. There will be no caution. They are going to the end here. Which brother will it be, though, as the 58 looks to the inside? He is trying very hard to get to second. Right behind him, you got Swafford, and Adam Ritchie has crashed in turns 1 and 2. It will be Kevin McCann, it looks like, unless there's a mistake. Yes, it'll be Kevin McCann taking the win tonight. And at the line, it is Brian McCann second, Kenny Hyde third, Jeremy Edwards fourth, Justin Swafford fifth. That was a close finish. Kevin Bernheimer comes home sixth. Kyle Storm comes home seventh. Pudge manages an 8th place finish. Caleb McCarthy ninth. Keith Fonseca is in 10th. 11th place is Chris Rawlings. 12th is Blair Patterson. He made up a lot of ground there at the end. Then David Trumbley, James Krause, Mike Butler, Lucas Gortman, Dean Webb, Rick Whitwell, and David Brown and Bryant DeYoung round out your top 20. And while the 2 TDR cars led and got the victory, securing the top 2 spots, it does look like a Nowski Nation overall win tonight. As the celebration does begin down there. And we will see if we get some drivers joining us in the booth here in just a moment. Brothers McCann do not celebrate for long. Great showing tonight for the Nowski Nation. TDR had a bit of a rough evening. Thank you, Unibro Racing. Yeah, it was a fun one. And, yep, it was a good race, Jason. We'll give these guys a couple of moments to see if we can get some drivers in the booth. We'll remind you, Sunday night we will be broadcasting the BRR Cup Series from Pocono, the beginning of their playoffs. Monday night we'll have the Outlaw Triple Header Dirt Series, the 305s, 358s, and the Enduro race. If you haven't watched an Outlaw Enduro, well, you are missing out. You can find all the past races on the YouTube channel. This race will be on YouTube tomorrow morning. You can find all of the links and relevant information on htsai.net. It looks like the Nowski folks are continuing the celebration. I think they're pretty well aware that they secured the victory here tonight. And we got some engines blowing up here. Those McCanns are a tough duo, especially when they get together. I don't know if they're stoppable when they're working together. Give these guys just another moment or two and see if we get anybody in the booth with us tonight. Tommy's not here to make everybody be in the right place at the right time. Don't forget to check out the sponsors for both groups, Nowski Nation. You can find them on Facebook, and the Tyler Daniels Racing, the Back Charities, McConey Setup Shop, and all the other great groups that help support their racing. Supporting those groups, supporting their sponsors helps everybody out. And it looks like we're not going to get to talk to any drivers. It looks like everybody is very quickly disappearing. So I guess we will call it a night. A bit of an interesting night, but some great racing out of everybody here from both groups. As I mentioned, it does. Oh, it looks like we might be able to talk to Kevin McCann. Maybe. Well, he disappeared again. Oh, there we go. Hey, we do get the brothers McCann. Hey, Kevin McCann, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, congratulations on another dominant performance.
Hey, yeah, thanks. It was fun.
You were running away from the field. I don't know if you realize just how quickly, but at one point you were gaining a second a lap.
Oh yeah, yeah, I was a bit surprised by that. I didn't know what line was going to be dominant tonight. I knew the high line was quicker just from the practice laps we ran, but I knew the track was going to get tighter, and I knew eventually that bottom lane would come in. I just didn't know at what point. So I stuck it to the top for most of the night, and it was working. And then I think around lap 50 or so, took a bit of a gamble and took a pit stop and got shuffled back maybe like seventh, eighth or something like that, and was forced to run the bottom for a few laps, trying to get around everybody, and realized that the bottom lane was coming in. So then it became more of a preference deal, and as you saw from the end there, multiple lines, everybody was kind of the same speed, so that was pretty fun.
Well, you definitely had a heck of a battle with Brian Kenny and Jeremy there at the end, and it looked like you managed to hold everybody off. Your brother was fighting on the outside, but you couldn't quite break away there the last few laps on that last green-white checkered.
Yeah, like I said, it got really even there at the end. Yeah, I was honestly guessing. I didn't know where I should go. I didn't know if I should put the block on the bottom, if I should block the top. I think one of the turns, I think I just took the middle. I'm like, what the heck? but yeah, I knew Brian was going to be tough. We always have a deal that last lap all bets are off. It's fair game, so I knew he was going to be tough. And then also I think it was the 58 car, Hyde, who was pretty quick all night too, and he was up there. So just did the best I could, and you know took home the win.
Well, congratulations. That was a great win, and you know, another great showing from your family. You don't have any other brothers coming out that are going to help TDR become more dominant, do you?
No, I only have the one.
It's probably for the best for Nowski. All right, man. Congratulations.
Yep, thanks.
And Brian McCann, this is Doug in the booth. You got me? Hey, Brian, this is Doug in the booth. You got me?
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, man, pretty good. A hard fought second place tonight.
Yeah, it was tough at the beginning there. I don't know how many laps in we were, and I just drove the car straight into the wall, and that put me back way back in the field. And then I had to take a quick repair, and then I was worried about getting damaged again. So yeah, did everything I could to get back up in the top three.
Well, you definitely did. I mean, you were back in, I think, about 12th or 13th at one point, and the next time we looked at you just to check in on you, you had already worked your way back up to fifth. Couple of well-timed cautions for you. You managed to come up through the field, and I noticed you ran a lot of that, and picked up a lot of positions on older tires than the cars around you.
Yeah, the tire differential was not that much there at the end. The track really came in and had some grip, so it wasn't really helping out so much. That's why we stayed out there at the end.
Well, I know your brother said when we talked to him that on the last lap, all bets are off. And I know you had to battle the 58 on the inside for the entire last lap. But given the chance, would you dump your brother for the win?
I wouldn't dump them, but I would definitely bump them.
Rattle his cage a little?
Yeah,
Well, congratulations, man. That was definitely a hard fought second. And great battle with the 58 there at the end.
yeah. Thank you for broadcasting.
My pleasure. All right, and I do believe I just got word Andy is going to be joining us to make a statement here in just a moment. And I agree, we need Tommy back. I miss Tommy tonight. I told him he was a bad Tommy for not showing up. So we'll give Andy Shaner here. Excuse me, I just lost the ability to talk. We'll give Andy here a moment here to show up and give a statement. It does look like, at the very least, the Nowski Nation is going to open up their lead just a little bit. As they had the majority of the top 10 spots, and it looks like quite a few TDR guys were out there at the end. Just looking through those that were on pit road or out of contention early on, you had Aaron Johnson, Patrick Gitter, Adam Ritchie, Matt Wheeler, Tyler Bowers, and John Lucido. So a decent mix of both groups uh, outside the top 20 at the end of the race, but a large number of those were TDR guys, which really is going to hurt their points going into the next race. Next race will be in 2 weeks. And I will take a quick look and tell you where that is and what car You can find all that information, of course, on the Facebook page. It is also on the website, thehtsai.net. And just waiting on Andy Shaner to show up. And don't forget, you can tune in tomorrow at, I believe it is 1 Eastern. I will say that my new spotter pack is a bit adult, so there is that. But you can tune in and watch me run the Indy 500 or the first 10 laps of it or however long I managed to survive. Last week in the fixed one, I made it about 100 laps, and then half my field lost connection. All right, 2 weeks from tonight, it will be Cup Cars at Daytona, so you are not going to want to miss that. 2 weeks after that, on June 18th, will be the Gander Trucks at Eldora. 2 weeks after that, June 25th, Xfinity at Phoenix, followed by July 16th, ARCA at Kentucky. July 30th will be Super Late Models at Atlanta. That'll be an interesting race. And they will finish off the series on August 6th with the Cup Cars at iRacing Super Speedway. So that'll be a heck of a race there. Couple of big draft tracks at Daytona and iRacing Super Speedway could shake up the points a lot. Additionally, the trucks at Eldora, dirt track in the Gander trucks, that could change the points up quite a bit. You got some really good dirt track racers out there on both teams. And guys like Scott Snodgrass, who are actually extremely good at teaching you to drive on dirt, he's the one that taught me. So could see of those 3 races, things could get shook up very easily. We could see a situation where it comes down to that last race at iRacing Super Speedway if the points are close enough, which as of right now they probably will be, especially with Daytona next week. Or next time, I should say, in 2 weeks. Let's see if we can track Andy down. Let me... We'll see if we can get a hold of Mr. Shaner here. Give us just a moment. Well, I'm going to say whatever statement he wanted to make. I guess we will post on Facebook. Can't seem to. Wait a minute. Let me try one more thing. All right, looks like Andy is not going to be making a statement tonight, so appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to check out Back Charities, that's BACC.com, and check out Tyler Daniels Racing, Nowski Nation, and all the other exciting groups on iRacing. You can find a lot of that information along with a lot of charity information at htsai.net. Hope you guys enjoyed the broadcast. I had a great time with it. Tommy will be back next time if I have to drag him here myself. Thank you guys for tuning in and have a great night.